Greetings, everyone. There is a conundrum at the heart of conceptualizations of professional curriculum knowledge, namely how to accommodate theoretical knowledge in a predominantly practical curriculum, and how to accommodate practical or procedural knowledge in a predominantly theoretical curriculum. Suellen struggled with these issues in her important work on professional knowledge, and this paper will argue she successfully shed light on the former, but not so much on the latter in her early and middle work. Suellen's journey started with the notion of curriculum coherence when she was recruited by the SANTED project to theorize how merged institutions should plan common curricula across qualifications from both a former university and a university of technology. This posed sharply the question of the integration of theoretical and procedural knowledges. I had initially been recruited to produce some conceptual direction, which I did in a highly abstract fashion, some would say typically so. This account warned against mixing the two forms of knowledge in a haphazard and unplanned way, producing incoherence. The advice might have been sound, but what did that mean in concrete cases? Suellen provided the answer. Combining the coherence idea with John Gamble's work for Umulusi, both tied together with Bernstein, Suellen proceeded in 3 steps. In step 1, she conceptualized from Gamble a range of knowledges from procedural to conceptual, aimed at minimizing the dichotomy between the two. In step 2, she recontextualized this range to describe a range of curriculum knowledges, adapting Gamble and Muller, pictured as a continuum. In step 3, she derived from this an empirical coding instrument for describing the content of curricula in qualifications to show their relative degree of emphasis and coherence. Together with a team, Suellen then described the curricula of qualifications in 4 fields of study, holding up a mirror as to what combination worked optimally at what level in what qualification. But problems remained, and in her subsequent work, Suellen worried particularly about what happens to practice in the schema. The flaw, Suellen decided, lay in conceptualizing contextual and conceptual coherence as a continuum, as shown in this slide. How, for instance, to map the engineering curriculum, both highly procedural and conceptual, was not explained. To place it in the middle of the continuum would, of course, not make sense. Gamble had devised a non-dichotomous solution, generating 2 kinds of each conceptual and procedural coherence, producing a 4x4 topology of the kind familiar to Bernsteinians. Suellen went another route, redescribing the analysis of the semantic terms of LCT, which describes Gamble's variations of coherence in terms of variations of semantic gravity and semantic density. Time does not permit going into details here. The discussion now raises another problem. What exactly do we mean by context? And in the coherence schema, context refers to a kind of knowledge inside the curriculum. In LCT, context points to the world of practical action out there. The same goes for practice. When does it refer to a form of knowledge in here, and when to something done in the world out there? It's not always easy to tell. Redescribing it as a competence, of course, blurs the distinction further. The paper concludes by suggesting a return to Bernstein's original postulate that procedural knowledge, skills, procedures can be either in horizontal discourse or in vertical discourse. If in vertical discourse, it shares features with all kinds of vertical discourse we usually associate with theory, internally linked, coherent, and importantly, capable of hierarchical elaboration. Much more could be said about this. Suellen's great contribution has been to show us how to produce an X-ray view of an institution's qualifications so as to identify strong and weak aspects of each qualification. This contribution has not been fully recognized and its potential fully exploited by either the curriculum planners of our institutions or our curriculum scholars. Let us hope that some will in future take up the challenge.